Welcome to another episode of Hello Again Wednesday with Brent Miller. Each Wednesday you can join in as his special guest. Answer along with question of the day. Listen to life stories. Follow him on Spotify or your favorite podcast platform. On Facebook. Or his YouTube channel, Brent Miller, What's on His Mind? This week's episode 172. How are you feeling? And now.
Okay, it is Hello Again Wednesday, and I'm sure a lot of you are shocked because it actually is Wednesday, and it says Hello Again Wednesday. My hair is freaking out with the wind and everything, and so a little breezy out here on the West Coast, and so I am on live right now, just seeing if Facebook will handle it. I'm running a high FPS on my OBS because that gets rid of a lot of the glitches on the recording. I'm not really seeing anything come up on there it comes. I see it's popping up now. Okay, so I'm just checking things out as we begin our Hello Again Wednesday uh, this week. And so it's episode 172. It's called How Do You Feel? And so I'm so grateful. Thank you for joining me this week in each and every Wednesday. If you can, please click a little like and maybe even on the Facebook or share this video with others so people can answer the question of the day. As you answer the question, those who are answering the questions, or even if you click a like or a heart or care or whatever, or even if you clicked an angry face, at least I know you're watching, and you would be considered my guest on all of those levels. Okay. And so thanks for joining. And anytime that you do want to be a guest, I can make that work, or we can have a little conversation for everyone to uh, join in and listen in on, or even answer maybe your question of the day. And so feel free to bring that to my attention. So question of the day is this, and it's almost a two-parter. It is a two-parter. It's how do you really feel, or would you, if you could change, would you, if you could change how you feel? So how do you really feel, and would you, if you could, change how you feel? The doctor release I got last week, and it says that I can go back uh, doing the things that I have been doing, such as preaching and teaching at the church, or ticket taking just 2 blocks up the street at the AMC Dine-In Theater. I can run the box office at the cash register, and also so I can give tickets as well as take tickets. I have plenty of restrictions though, where no lifting, no excessive. It's no bending and no excessive bending. And I just thought with no bending that would kind of, you know, well, I can't, I wasn't in my head thinking, oh, no bending, but if I excessive bend, but anyways, that's the restrictions that I have right now until later on in this month. And restrictions, I and others are watching out for me too, because that means that each day I am getting better, which means I'm feeling better, and so I can feel it to where I am feeling much better. Okay, so I realize though with these restrictions that I got to make sure I maintain with myself the restrictions after service last Sunday, because I knew I wanted to get to uh, go back to AMC and do tickets and stuff. And some of the things that I had to do, I did have to do some lifting at the position I was in, as you know, with my injured my back problem, and going back to it means uh, sitting, standing, some walking, sitting, standing, some walking, and so I can handle that restriction. That restriction also goes over to the church, though, where to do things at length, I thought, well, here's what I'm going to do this Sunday. I'm going to have a very light ovation that a friend gave me, just a light guitar. So I played that one, played it 2 weeks ago sitting down. So I played it standing up with Ashley on the keyboards behind me. And then I preached standing up. And Connie goes, man, Brent, you're way too animated. And that's my problem. Like right now, that's my problem um, with preaching on Sunday is I get animated and it gets to be very difficult. I'm just kind of looking. Okay, it's catching up. Okay. I think the FPS is going to mess this up. And so I am recording it right now, and I may end up reposting it however it goes. Okay. And so, anyways, back to at church, I was standing up and very animated. And then I felt it. I felt it later, going home after service. I realized, wow, I need to check it out and make sure I'm just still being very careful. Go figure. I animate when I'm storytelling. Especially if I'm passionate about the stories that I'm telling. And so now, before I go any farther, last night, hey buddy, yes, no, I don't. So uh, someone was asking for an iPhone 12 cord. I don't have one on hand right now. That was Elijah, huh? And so let me get back to where I was. Oh yeah. So as I was getting ready to, I was going over things for this Hello Again Wednesday segment, and then I started thinking about, you know, how are you feeling? And that just, it always, that question always shoots me back to 1975. I would have been 10 years old. Don Kirshner's rock concert was on television. And you could see Peter Frampton. I loved guitars. Peter Frampton asked the same question, kind of not like I do. He has a voice box for his guitar. And boy, do I want one of those in asking the question of um, how do you uh, feel? How do you feel? And just I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right here. Let me just mute my microphone. That is so cool. I was watching it. I love Peter Frampton with his voice box. Great guitarist, great asking the question for me, how do you feel? You know what? When I ask the question, how do I feel? I still remember from like last week, there's so much to do and asking for help. And as I said those last words, um, and I was preparing for Sundays, so I said those words on Wednesday that we need help and stuff like that for many reasons. And so as I was preparing the Sunday message, I found some words of encouragement to myself. So not just for me, but for everyone. And so just so you kind of know, our church is struggling. Um, a lot of people have passed away or moved, and that makes things difficult in a small church. The smaller the church gets, the harder it gets uh, to do things in ministry, and it's a real struggle. And so it brings on a lot of emotions and stuff from uh, uh, bad emotions to good emotions. I mean, when you're hurting and you're in pain physically and things are you're unable to do the best of what you were doing, it gets it's you're on a roller coaster ride of emotions and you're looking for help. uh, Sometimes the bad tries to desperately take over the good, and so I'm very careful with that. And I encourage you to be very careful. Don't let the bad things surrounding you overtake the good things that are there at your fingertips. So for me, giving up is never an option. I mean, I shouldn't say never. Giving up is not an option. And so, especially as I delved into the things that were taking place at the end of last year, I'm voicing out loud to individuals, I recognize what's going on. I know you recognize what's going on in these struggles. And so I gave a challenge. I might have told you this to Hello Again Wednesday. I gave a challenge for 92 days. We're going to pray all the way up to New Year's Day and of 2024, and we're going to just pray for 92 days for specifically the direction and the spiritual health of the church, and for the people in the church, and for the church ministry that is on our corner right there here in Culver City and Los Angeles. Shortly after that, um, I was led into this thought with a purpose and executable directions for reviving the church, reviving people, reviving others, especially those in our community where the church has been at for about 65 years. And so reviving the church, so it's reviving church, reviving people, reviving others in its short little thought process that I came across. I spirit nudged me that way. And so this past Sunday, though, because I preached then out of Joshua, the book of Joshua, the story of Joshua and God's children and Jericho and all those others after it. Preached on that for a little bit in regards to reviving the church and reviving people. And because I believe if you don't place out the blueprints ahead of time, then it gets muddled, or it gets so many sidetracks. But if you stay the course of a blueprint, then success will come. And that's a scripture too, because you're doing what God wants. But anyways, so this past Sunday, I found I did it on reviving the mind. So if you'll bear with me, just on some of my thoughts that I had for they were some of the segments that was in Sunday's message. First of all, our thoughts control our lives, but we can control our thoughts. Our thoughts control our lives, but we can control our thoughts. And then I went into, controlling your thoughts and stuff like that. And then another one was change must start in our minds. So when you're talking about reviving anything in your life, now some of you aren't churchgoers maybe, but you have to have that good thing going forward. And so change must start in our minds. It has to start with you. It starts with me. Okay. Ready? Behaviors are based on our beliefs. Behaviors are based on our beliefs. So your actions of the day are what you are because of what you believe. And some of you are going to go, no, this action does. Yes. Somewhere deep down in, you have this belief system that led you down that path of whatever good or bad was, based on your beliefs. And unfortunately, sometimes those things can lead to real tragic episodes in your life because your belief system took you down a bad path. Okay. And so I got deeper into it with the church, but that's just some of the things that I'm looking at when I was talking about reviving your own personal mind. And then this is my last one that I'll give you. We can change our feelings by changing our thoughts. And this is where, like, I'm changing our feelings. I was all on to this one thing here. And so that's the segment of the day. How are you feeling? We can change our feelings by changing our thoughts. And I'm going to help you out with that kind of a idea. Okay. I'm going to do it in a story real quick. Because as I was reading it in my own personal studies, like, wow, can I really do that? Can I change my feelings? What was it? Can I change my feelings by changing my thoughts? And so I began to ponder it. And so then I asked the question to the church. I said, hey, have you ever had a dream that was so awesome, so cool, that you wanted to control that thought process and go back into that dream, to actually make yourself fall asleep, have a thought process to go back into a super cool dream that you just had, and you just want to fall right back into it? Have you ever done that? Or have you ever done anything like that? Can you really control your thoughts that will very much change the way you feel? Yes, you can. And that's the answer. You say no, but I'm going to tell you, yes, you can. I'm going to tell you some example. I'm going to tell you one example that's in the scriptures, and it's found in the story of Jonah. Okay, if you know Jonah, Jonah's the story of the man and the big fish, and uh, very quickly, I'm going to tell you the story very quickly. Jonah, God told him, go to this one city of Nineveh, tell them people, they're all bad, tell them to repent, okay, or you will destroy the city. So Jonah didn't like the people of Nineveh. He did not like the people of Nineveh. His feelings were not toward the people of Nineveh. So his thought process was to go the opposite direction. And so he gets on a boat, goes the opposite direction, and lo and behold, God sends a storm, and the guys on the ship, they're terrified. Somebody did something wrong. If you read the story, it goes into huge detail. In the end, Jonah says, yes, it's me. I'm the one that caused this problem on our ship. Throw me overboard. And they didn't even want to do that, but then they did. Jonah got swallowed up by a big fish. He's in the belly of the big fish for 3 days. 3 days, 4 days. And so he's in this stinky, stinky belly of a fish. And I would say probably with the thoughts of I'm about to be digested. Okay. And in Jonah chapter 2, verse 7, it says this: when I had lost all hope, I turned my thoughts once more to the Lord. And see, with Jonah, he got to what he considered the lowest point of life. He was about to die in the belly of a fish. You can't get much lower than this inch of death. And it was one of his toughest days, right? Yet one thing he did is he thought about, well, wait a minute, there's still God. There's still someone greater than me. And so he turned his thoughts once more to the Lord, meaning he changed how he felt in the belly of the fish, how he felt toward God. That, and you guys can take it however you want, but that man, Jonah, turned his thoughts toward God, and boom, fish spits him out. It's a whole different, more to the story. But the thought process is this: can you change your feelings? Can you change your feelings by changing your thoughts? Jonah did it. He changed his feelings and his thoughts. Now, so much that he obeyed God. Now, he had different problems later on, but at that moment, can you change your thoughts, your feelings and your thoughts? Yes, that's the way it is. So, um, there was a challenge as I was studying this that said, hey, go ahead and memorize John 2:7. Okay. That when I was at my lowest, and thought all was lost and all hope was gone, I turned my thoughts once more to the Lord. That was me paraphrasing it. That's how I memorize. I don't memorize word for word, but boy, I sure know what he did. So how do I feel? I recognize that for the most part, every day physically, like I told you, I'm getting better and better. The I told you about the reality of other days of overdoing it and doing it way too much. And with that, I regretted some of the things that I had done. And so, you know what? Uh, that's the way it is. Kind of frustrated because I think my FPS is too high for Facebook. I'm going to see how my recording goes, and I'll just pop it up on there for you guys, okay? It'll be like pre-recorded or whatever. So here's the thing, though. Even though like I had a rough day, Connie, she was even the one that was smart enough to say, you know what, Brent, just take. I worked too hard. Went Monday, just rest on Tuesday, and I did. And think I might go rest at the beach today. Elijah, he's been my beach buddy all for 2 weeks. Like last night he looked over at me. He goes, Papa, and we broke our streak because we were like going almost every day. We broke our streak. Okay. So, question of the day. All right. How do you really feel? Would you, if you could, change how you feel? Remember that scripture I told you about, story of Jonah. Watching, thanks for watching. If you see it, it'll be on YouTube, it'll be on Facebook. I'll have to bump it up on there, and you guys are gonna see, hey, put it back on. All right. Go ahead and answer, chime in on the comments, anyways, please, and share it with someone else. See how. And so it leads us to this. Our Bible study, we're taking off for the summer. I think we're going to try and do something special for the church, maybe once, maybe a picnic or something later on. But for right now, we're kind of resting on Wednesday, which is helping me on my recuperation, that's for sure. If you can, check us out on our Facebook page or our website for Sunday service at 10:45 out here on the West Coast, 10:45. And but if you can't join us for ours, check out a church near you. Check out a church near you, having a good Bible study, great church service, be with some friends, laugh, eat together, meet some new friends. Really listen to how everyone is feeling this week. And always be that loving human factor in the church that you're at. Okay? Thanks for joining me for this Hello Again Wednesday. I hope to see you next Wednesday, maybe even live on Hello Again Wednesday. Always remember to give someone a hello again handshake, a hello again hug, or a hello again whatever. And I will see you guys next Wednesday.
Thanks for watching or listening to this week's episode of Hello Again Wednesday with Brent Miller. Each Wednesday, you can join in as his special guest. Answer along with question of the day. Listen to life stories. Follow him on Spotify or your favorite podcast platform, on Facebook, or his YouTube channel, Brent Miller What's on His Mind. Please join him next Wednesday for another episode.